the next four.
He motivates pure devotion unto himself. He is the most attractive to his beloved servitors. By his dramatic dancing, he exhibits the characteristics of the king of paramours. He causes the minds of beautiful young village women to dance. I bow down to Gora, the beautiful son of Manasachi. He plays hartals as his throat emits sweet melodious sounds, and the vibrant notes of the veena are softly played. He thus inspires the devotees to perform dramatic dancing that is infused with aspects of his own devotional service. I bow down to Gora, the beautiful son of Manasachi. He is accompanied by the Sankirtan movement, which is a religious practice for the age of Kali. He is the son of Nanda Maharaj, come again. He is the extraordinarily brilliant ornament of the earth. His preaching mood is suitably adapted to the cycle of birth and death. His consciousness is fixed in meditation on his own flow of Krishna. He is always accompanied by his transcendental abode. I bow to Gora, the beautiful son of Manasachi. His eyes, the soles of his feet, and his clothing are reddish like the color that heralds the rising sun. As he utters his own names, his voice falters. He awakens a sweet flavor to life throughout the universe. I bow down to Gora, the beautiful son of Manasachi.
Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai. So now let us continue the lyrics. So I'll be singing two lines and then you can repeat, like call and respond. So I'll continuously sing first two lines and then you can repeat those two lines. And then next two lines and then you can repeat that.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Very good. So I see some returning faces. Missing for a while and see some beautiful faces coming back. I'm so happy. And I also see some new faces. There are somebody who hasn't been here before. Is there somebody who hasn't been here before? Do I see someone? Yes. Can you say your name please so we can welcome you properly?
Yeah, my name is Chinmay, Kumar Chinmay.
Chinmay. Let's welcome Chinmay by loudly chanting. One more?
Yeah, I'm Abhishek.
Abhishek. Let's welcome Abhishek by loudly chanting. Been here before?
One time.
Can we welcome you back? Can you say?
My name is Tanya. Tanya.
Tanya.
Tanya.
Let's welcome Tanya by loudly chanting. Shreyansh is back from home, albeit for a little time only. So we have to welcome him back so loudly that Walmart brings him back here again. So let's welcome Shreyansh back by loudly chanting. Rahul, yes, let's welcome Rahul back by loudly chanting. Can you welcome me back? Yes?
Morgan.
Morgan, yes, let's welcome Morgan back by loudly chanting. You too, please. Can we welcome you back?
Tanmay.
Let's welcome Tanmay by loudly chanting again.
I'm Piper.
Piper, let's welcome Piper back by chanting. Is someone here again for the first time?
Second time.
Second time, yes. Can you welcome me back?
My name is Lydia.
Lydia, yes. Let's welcome Lydia by loudly chanting. We haven't been missing them, but let's welcome back Dev Prabhu and family and Kunal Prabhu and family by loudly chanting again. What about rest of us? Let's welcome all of us by loudly chanting again. So we are all waiting for our month monthly session that's going to start soon. We're going to hear the beautiful spiritual journey of Radha Priti. Until then, we will do a little more Harinam. I don't know what melody I'm going to sing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now let's all settle down to have some heart-to-heart conversation.
Let the heartbeat slow down. For the heart to heart.
Let's welcome Radha Priti up here. And Mike. Yes.
Like you sit on this side. Mike, tell them what this session is about first.
Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to the Kirtan Center. It's so nice to have you here tonight. I don't know if you were looking around during the last Kirtan, but it was just so wonderful to see so many smiling faces. And if you just looked around, everybody just seemed to be having just the time of their lives. So talk to somebody who comes to the Kirtan Center, and it's a chance to obviously get to know someone a little better. It's a chance for someone to share a little bit about their journey, share about their path to bhakti, share about how bhakti relates to their life. And it's a chance for us to, find that kind of common ground, the way that we relate to one another, the way that we can connect to one another, the way how this process can really bring people together. I wasn't supposed to be doing the interview tonight. Ashley was actually supposed to. I've never really felt glad that someone's kid gets an ear infection, but I'm really happy to have the opportunity to do this tonight because, Radha Priti over the past, it's only been 2 years now. has had a chance to become a really good friend, so I'm happy to have this opportunity. So first off, you want to raise your right hand and sort of tell the truth?
No, I don't.
Right, so I'll start off with the kind of most, like the cliche question is, obviously, you come from a different kind of background and culture than, that Oilers and Bhakti. So how did you come to this path? How did you first come across this?
Yeah. By the way, I'm sorry that you guys have to listen to me for the next 10 or 15 minutes. I apologize. I hope I can bring some element of entertainment. It's not really revolutionary. I was at a yoga studio, and actually the same teacher that Ashley talked about, the last one, Raghunath, came to a yoga studio. I was really into yoga, really into handstands, arm bounces, like the whole thing. I was not into really spirituality, and then I became so more. I guess I was to some extent, but not anything like bhakti. I was into like silent meditation.
So, when you first got exposed to this, then what kind of stood out to you? Like, what was something that you found attractive about this? Because it was, different than what you've been doing prior.
Oh, well, right away I went to India. That was like the first thing I did. And India in itself, like, blows you away. I mean, it's like God country out there. Everything is centered around God. Like, you check out at the grocery store, they're like, Hare Krishna. I'm like, oh, Hare Krishna. And then I started chanting, and that right away was like, blew my mind, the connection that I felt. I knew I was looking for something. I didn't really know what I was looking for, but I definitely felt it through the Maha Mantra and chanting. And I worried when I got back from India. I was like, oh no, is this just going to be, it's just like because things were so special in India, is it not going to be the same when I get back home? But it was. And so I was really pleasantly surprised, and then just kept going with it. We got a secret over here. Let's share your secret. What did he tell you? We want to know.
He was just prompting me with questions. He thinks I should be asking.
Sounds like Mukunda.
Plotting.
So, you haven't mentioned this yet, but you came from a very academic, scientific kind of background. How did you kind of bridge the gap between something that, is a little more esoteric, a little more faith-based, a little more experiential, versus that kind of the science and logic that you...
Well, so I was a nuclear engineer before. I designed nuclear submarines for the Navy, and I was always into like abstract. Like, I chose nuclear because I couldn't see it, and that always made a lot more sense to me, some way or another. And then I read one of Prabhupada's books, and he talked about how bad nuclear energy was, basically. Which, not that nuclear energy in itself is bad, but that our consciousness is so poor that something that powerful and that has the potential for that kind of destruction can be super dangerous. And I thought, wow, that's actually a really good point. Like, maybe we should work on a collective first. Because I always thought nuclear energy was like something that was really misunderstood and could be used for the good, which I still believe. But it kind of like reframed what maybe my purpose in life was in terms of like service to humanity. And from a scientific perspective, I don't know if you've ever read the Gita, but it is scientific, and I'm a fan.
So, when you started connecting with the teachings and the philosophy, what was something that initially stood out or that really seemed attractive to you? Or that, you were just like, yes, like this makes so much sense.
Okay, I got two of them. The things I like about this philosophy is that you can experiment with it. You can just try it and see how it affects your life. And then in that way, you can kind of build faith. So it's not about like building blind faith. It's not just about like jumping into a new culture or tradition, which like frankly to me was like a little weird when I started. Now I love it, but it was a little like, this is kind of strange. But so these principles you could try out, see how they work in your life, and then decide, how much further you want to go with them. So the very first one that I tried out was this concept of not being attached to the fruits of your action, right? Like you just, and I tried this out at work. Like you just try your hardest, to like whatever your commitment is or whatever your objective is, you just like give it your all, and then you just let go, you just accept how it is. And that was like revolutionary to like my work, like my productivity, because I had like so much more mind power to apply to work when I wasn't so worried about the result or anxious about it or like lament what's happening, just to be like, okay, I did my best with the control that I have, and now I'm gonna let go. And also it's revolutionary to like my relationships, because people like you more when you're not a jerk. Turns out, when you're not like taking your shit out on, taking your stuff out on them, or like when you can just kind of even let go of your expectation of them, it really is helpful. I remember one time this person who was just like notoriously hard to work with, but he was writing me an email that was like just kind of like ranting the way that he does in like a really rude way. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna totally crush this guy. I'm like writing this email back to him, in the same tone and the same, just like everything he said, picking apart. And then I'm stuck, I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, am I just trying to prove, like, what's the point? Is this really in line with my objective? He was like, no. So I'm just gonna like be straight, be kind, erase the whole thing. I wrote a new one. And then that was like the end of it. It was like, wow, this is so nice. I know these principles seem pretty like, but when you catch yourself in the moment, getting wrapped up in your ego, getting wrapped up in like, I'm gonna be right, this person's gonna be wrong, I'm gonna be better than this person, I'm gonna be smarter than that person, I'm gonna make sure they know it. When you can kind of like let go of that, it's like a burden that we carry that we think is a treasure, and it's a burden. This ego that we have. I'm sorry, this is the second thing, ego. I kind of transitioned without introducing. This concept of the ego, yeah. And that was really like, and then again, it's a burden that you can let go of, and then it improves everything in your life, from your relationships to your work. And that was it for me. I started getting like promoted, my relationship started improving, I started picking better partners, just like all the things. Yeah, I have one more. Do we have time for one more? Do you guys want to hear one more?
Yes.
Okay, the next one, this will be number 3, I guess, is this concept that we are not our mind and not our body, and that our being and its essence is our soul. That's what we are, right? And when we can really like we hear that all the time, we're like, okay, I get it. But like when we can really like imbibe that, it can create so much space between like all these labels we put on ourselves, all these like expectations that we think we need to fulfill, or even like, I did this, now I'm a bad person, I can't forgive myself. When we can see it like, I have this mind-body vehicle, I'm affected by the modes of nature around me, and as such, this vehicle's veered off the road a few times, this vehicle has some dents in it, but it's not me. It's so nice to create that space between the things that we do, the things that we think, the things that we've done, and who we actually are. And in that way, it feels a little bit more, we can be like a little bit more objective, is that the right word? About it, okay, well, I did this, it's not me, okay, I think I'm gonna do it differently the next time. And we can let it go. It just makes kind of dealing with these things a little bit easier and a little bit sweeter. And in that way, we can also like elevate ourselves by just creating that space between who we actually are and what we so frequently identify with in this material existence, which is, can bring us to a pretty low spot pretty quick if we get too overly identified, right? So that was also like another burden that was lifted.
Great answer there. For those of you who don't know, she actually facilitates a podcast going over the Gita. So if that's something that interests you, you can talk to her about that. But I mean, she's good at these kinds of answers. So one of the things when you were just sharing about that, you know, and the value in some of these practices and the advantages or benefits that you've gotten from applying them, I was just thinking about, you know, we all sometimes struggle a lot. You know, we all have challenges. You know, life comes along, life changes come along, stuff in our mind and stuff. What do you do that like helps you sustain practice? What do you do that helps sustain the motivation when it maybe doesn't seem as rewarding or feels a little harder or times get a little darker?
I think it just always come back to why I'm here. And there are, I'm going to tell you about a challenge. You want to hear about a challenge? Pretty soon after I got in, I had kind of a falling out with one of my teachers who I was really close with and who really helped me a lot and gave me a lot of knowledge. And it was so heartbreaking because like that person was like everything I knew about my practice. Like, and they taught me everything I knew about that practice, about my practice. So it was one kind of like an identity crisis, like a spiritual identity crisis. And two, it was just like heartbreaking because the relationship was like, you know, was once very strong and then was pretty much like broken. And one thing that experience taught me was that my practice needs to be my own. Like I can't rely on anybody to connect, for my connection to source. You know, I need to kind of own that in a sense. So it really kind of like motivated me to own it, to study more, to chant more, to really kind of like have that regardless of what was going on in my material life. And so that tether, you know, when something happens, when a relationship falls apart or when you suffer a loss, maybe somebody close to you, or that relationship with source is really the only thing that's going to get us through, you know, and how you experience that, whether you experience that through the sastra, maybe like a sangha, maybe something like this kirtan night. So, however you experience that, having that as your tether, I think allows you to ride out the waves and do it in a way that's much more graceful than like if a person is your tether, you know, if you're making like a person God, it's like, how quickly can that fall apart, you know, or whatever it is that we tend to make God, but just kind of having your practice and owning your practice and really constantly checking your intention, like, you know, why are you here? When you do your service, why are you doing your service? And even in your service, you know, there's always some kind of like element of like ego, but at the same time, we're here to kind of try to shed that, you know, we're kind of here to kind of loosen our grip on material attachments and increase our attachment to source. So just constantly checking back. And when there is bumpiness in the road, seeing where you kind of stepped out of bounds and where you could maybe correct, you know, where maybe your attachment pulled you in a direction that wasn't really in line with your true purpose or where you want to go, and being really honest with yourself about that. And then doing the necessary to get back in line with your true purpose. And I think just constantly checking how it, you know, how your path aligns with your ultimate goal and destination, and trying to be as sincere as possible. I think that's what brings me back. The other thing I learned through that experience is never let yourself have fallouts with devotees. You know, if you need to take like a little space from a devotee, or like you need to kind of change the dynamic of the relationship, fine. But to like cut ties, try not to let that happen, because that is like, and I promised myself that at that time, I'm like, I'm gonna try everything I can to not let this happen again, because it's just unnecessary, you know. And I will say that devotee and I are good now. It took a few years, but.
We have time for one question from audience. If anybody, one question from audience. Harsh has a question.
Harsh, I want to hear it. What do you got?
Harsh has a question. Sorry. Ask any other question. Come on, come on.
I think it's good. It's good.
Realization. Ask.
How to reach Western bodies, like if I ask my friends of United States, like come to this program or this thing, then how to approach to them.
Yeah.
Very good. It's a good one. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just be honest with you guys. When I think about this, because I think about this a lot, I think about where I was when I first came in. You know, I was like super into material life. I was super into my job. You know, I may have said that I wasn't, but I was like all about my job, all about getting promoted, all about making money, all about all of the things, you know. And if I would have walked in here at that point and seen like people dancing around a tree, and you know, it's like, this is pretty weird. It would have been a little bit much for me, if I'm being honest. But I had a really good teacher that talked to me about the essence. And he talked to me from where I was at. You know, it's like Gita 326, you know, it's like, we try not to disturb people's minds, and we have to understand what could be disturbing for people, you know, especially this culture. Our culture is so different than Indian culture that some of this stuff just doesn't make sense. Like bowing to dolls, like that's weird. You know, for like a lot of people it is. I love it now. I have them in my house. I think it's great. But when I first came in, I'd be like, okay, that's kind of strange. So we have to kind of understand where people are. We have to see, you know, the culture that they're introduced to, their life that they live, and we have to try to meet them where they're at. So for me, who was like really into the rat race, giving me principles that helped me in that built my faith, because that's where I was. You know, it would have disturbed my mind to come in and start singing like, you know, I don't even, like there's so many things now that it's like, I look around and I'm like, oh boy, that can be a lot. It could be a lot. I went to India, so I had that benefit. It was almost like normal. But if people haven't been to India, you gotta understand how weird it is for people. You know, it just is. And that doesn't mean that it's not a beautiful practice and the rituals aren't so meaningful, but people just aren't there yet. And we have to be careful not to disturb their minds, or we'll never see them again. You know, so really starting at the essence. What's the essence? You're not the body, you're not the mind. You know, everybody can relate to that. Why can you relate to that? How is that gonna improve my life? I can tell you 5 reasons right now how that's gonna improve your life. Whatever you're into, you tell me, I'll tell you how that principle can improve your life. But I could go on with, you know, 5 other principles. You tell me whatever you're into, I'll tell you how that's gonna improve your life. And then allow people to build faith that way, on their own terms, in their own time. And in that way, they'll keep coming back. That's my experience. Okay. Also, I brought little QR code cards for the podcast that I do. It's on Monday and Thursdays at 7:30. We read through the Gita. Maria comes.
Yay!
Maria's a regular.
It's awesome.
Love Maria.
Not Thursday.
It's Thursday mornings. Monday and
mornings.
Thursdays.
Okay, mornings.
It's both. Don't worry. We don't interfere with this. No.
Thursday 7th.
I'm here every Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's in the morning. So you can come live. It's at 7:30 a.m. or you can listen after. But I have little QR codes. I'll put them over by the food, by the prashadam. And then also, I'm leading a women's retreat with Rukmini Walker in April at New Vrindavan, the 2nd through the 4th. It's going to be super fun. We're going to have mala bracelets. It's basically like spiritual girls' night out for a whole weekend, basically. So it'll be fun. So please come. I'll also put the little QR codes over there as well. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Yes. My question to you is like, suppose you have never got chance to visit India. So today, at what path of your spirituality you are in, how do you see? If you never got any chance like
How it would be
visited-
different?
Yeah, I'm just asking.
No, for sure. Honestly, it probably would have taken me a much longer time to like, it just would have taken me longer, to be honest. Because when you go to India, if you haven't been to India, please go to India as soon as you can. Because there's nothing like it, like just being immersed in that kind of in the culture, in a God-centered culture, and go with a guide who you know can give you that spiritual vision. Because it's easy to go to India and have material vision and, you know, frankly be like, I don't know if I want to come back here. But if you go with a guide who can show you the spiritual vision, and I only say that because, you know, India can be rough. There's tons of people, it can be overcrowded, it can be hot, there could be trash, you know, there's different, I'll be honest, India can be rough on a material platform. But if you can go with spiritual vision, if you can transcend that, it's like, there's nothing else. Like, the connection that you feel there, the space between you and God just like shortens in India. There's like, and it's just like, it's beautiful. Beautiful to witness, beautiful to experience. And people that are from India, you guys are blessed births, like, goodness gracious. So yeah, it would have been harder. And if you want to go to India and you want a guide, I know some guides that take people, so please talk to me.
So now Marissa, can you sing blessing prayers? So we'll have prayers of protection and then we'll have dinner.
Namaste, 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 Namaste,
Let's all have dinner. Hare Krishna.